Hey everybody, it's Derek and welcome back to CRM Tip of the Day's Video Tips, your source for tips and step-by-step instruction on the latest version of Microsoft Dynamics CRM. So in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about integrating Microsoft Dynamics CRM with social engagement. Now, obviously, in order to do this, you have to have a social engagement subscription, but I often get, a lot of questions about, what are some of the capabilities of the integration between the two? Obviously there's the functionality with the link to CRM and some of those different things. So what I thought would be kind of fun to do today is just to kind of show you what that looks like. And we'll do this in kind of a couple of different parts. Today we'll focus kind of on the surfacing social engagement pieces of information through Microsoft Dynamics CRM. And then in a later video, we can look at the actual link to CRM functionality. But this will at least give us an opportunity to see what some of the capabilities are with linking social engagement information directly into CRM to make it surfaceable through the application interface. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like. Now, the key thing to remember here is obviously you have to have a social engagement subscription. So that is something that you would have to have set up, and you would have to have your search topics configured on your social engagement subscription that have been actively going out and capturing information on posts and items that have been communicated. The key thing here is you're not necessarily setting any of that up or information up or manipulating it through CRM. All you're doing with kind of the baseline integration with CRM is you're exposing those search topics that have already been created and the widgets that are used to analyze that information, like sentiment and those kind of things, through the CRM interface. So if you wanted to look at it for a specific account, if you wanted to track information for a specific account, that search topic already has to be created in social engagement, and then you just surface it against the account record within Dynamics CRM. And so keep in mind that social engagement is going to have some monthly limits and items in regards to the posts that you have to work through. So those obviously come into consideration as well. So just simply associating it with a specific record in CRM isn't going to design that for you. That has to basically be designed ahead of time in order for you to attach it to an appropriate item. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into settings and administration. And then under administration, you'll see your social engagement configuration. So the first time you go in there, it's just going to, make sure that you're understanding what you're doing from that standpoint. So you'll go ahead and hit continue. Then it's going to go ahead and load up your scenario where you can attach it to your social engagement subscription. Now I'm working with a CRM Online instance. So this CRM Online instance also exists in the same Office 365 subscription as my social engagement subscription. So because of that, now I can go ahead and select this, and it shows me basically what we have within that item. So I can go ahead and select that as my social engagement subscription. It'll then set everything up and enable that functionality. Now it's up to me to actually go ahead and consume that information from an application perspective. So once this part is done and once it's basically connected to your social engagement environment, now you're ready to go ahead and start adding it into dashboards and forms. And that's really the two main areas that you can work with. So you'll see kind of a new area called social insights that you'll be able to attach to specific dashboards within the application, as well as to be able to attach to forms within the application as well. So if I were just to go into like settings, customizations, and I'll open up kind of my default solution here, and I were to open up my dashboards, I would now have an area where I could start adding social insight information to those dashboards. So within dashboards, let's say I open up a dashboard here. I'll go ahead and open up the customer service dashboard. You will now see that I have a new component here called Social Insights. And so this is where I can basically add the Social Insights option to my dashboard as I'm working through. So I'll click on Social Insights. It'll basically create the item that I want to work with. So it'll open up kind of a wizard to allow me to kind of create this Social Insights item. So you'll see here that depending upon your skill level with Social Insights or with social engagement, there's a couple of different options. There's what's referred to as a search topic, which is something that can go out and search blog posts, it can search public Twitter accounts, it can search news feeds, video files, those types of different things. Or you can actually, as you're creating search topics, you can categorize those based upon different scenarios. So you might have categories for accounts or contacts or specialized topics that you want to use within those situations. So you'll pick, in this case, the search topic that you want to work with, hit next. Then it's going to list all of your search queries or your search topics that have already been pre-configured with inside social engagement. So these are items that you have to kind of set up ahead of time. You do have an option to create these and define these, but you have to be an active social engagement license user in order to set this configuration up. In this case, since I want to just go ahead and use it, I'll go ahead and pick whatever specific option I want to use here. I'll hit next. And then social engagement uses a series of different widgets and items for analytical purposes. And so there's different widgets for, analyzing sentiment analysis. There's different widgets for analyzing, the languages that your posts and items are being viewed in. So these are all available through here. So you can see that there's a buzz visual diagram, locations, most active authors. These are all different types of predetermined widget reports that are available inside social engagement that ultimately you could surface inside the application itself. So you would pick whichever specific one that you want. If you want to have multiple ones based upon the size of the item in your dashboard, you could go ahead and add individual items from here and then just kind of stack these as needed. Once you've got all of the individual items, then you can go ahead and hit finish, and then that's going to surface that information on this social engagement dashboard and then load that information up ultimately when people view the information in their dashboard. So this will give all the information available so you can see what's kind of happened in that. And this is just a generic query that I've kind of made available. Now, at the same time, you can also do this if you wanted to look at it on kind of an entity level. So let's say, for example, I have several different customers or items that I have created search topics for, and I want to see what the buzz is for these key customers within the item that I want to work through. I do also have that capability that I can do. So I could go into, for example, the account entity, and I could open up forms on the account entity. And here is where I could customize the account entity form to actually display that information as I wanted to as well. So I could come into here to the account entity, define where I want to place this particular element. Maybe I'm going to create a new tab and I'm going to place the social engagement information directly on that tab. Or I could just add it into a different section. I think for our purposes today, I'll just go ahead and add a new one column tab. And then I'll go ahead and click OK. Now I'll see that I have a social insights option that I can go ahead and add. So I'm going to add the social insights option. I'll go ahead and leave it kind of how I want from a formatting perspective, maybe just to span out a few more pieces here. Maybe I'll make it 15 rows, and then I'll go ahead and click on OK. Now, the big thing that you're going to notice here, or the major difference that you're going to notice here from an application perspective, is that it's not going to ask me to configure the information like it did in the dashboard. So this is going to be a little bit different. It allows you to add it to the form, but since forms are going to be individual per item or account that you're working with, once that record is open per account, then they'll actually have walk through a configuration purpose. And so the information for anybody who has a social engagement license will be able to work with and view that information. Without a social engagement license, you won't be able to manipulate or go through that. So I'm going to just publish this form here very quickly. And now let's go ahead and open up an account record in the application. So I'm going to go to Sales and Accounts, open up an account record. And now you'll see that there's my social details. Now, the first time that I've come in here, now I have to configure this because it's individual per account record that you're working with. So if you have multiple accounts and you want to be able to look at social engagement information for each one of those accounts, a search topic is going to have to be created inside social engagement that is filtered down specifically for information related to those accounts. Then you could come in here to configure your social insights, create your search topic, or choose to associate it with a search topic. It's the same type of wizard that we used before. Now it's going to bring up all of your individual analytics. I'll pick the item that I want to work with. I'll hit next. Or if I want to, I could design it from in here, but again, you would have to have a social engagement license associated with it. Here's where you now have, just like we did within the dashboards, I would have the capabilities to pick and choose what particular items I want to work with. In this case, we'll just leave it at analytics. I'll hit finish. It's now going to load that component from social engagement directly into here. And now I can work with that and see that based upon this area. So this was just a generic one that I've created, but you can see it's got posts per day for Dynamics CRM. These are all drillable content that I now would have the capability to go in and look at based upon individual items. And then if I click on them, it'll open up my social engagement subscription. And then I would be able to go into the dashboards and get further information about that based upon those items. I would also have the capabilities to change the visuals if I wanted to. And there's also some filtering options that you would have the capabilities to work with as well. So that's just a quick look into how you can connect your CRM environment with an existing social engagement subscription. If you already have the subscription and you're using it to pull in analytics, it can be a great way to bring that stuff in and just kind of further provide your users with greater flexibility to be able to see what's happening. Now, obviously, with social engagement and CRM, they've added some other functionality like linking to CRM, so being able to create CRM activities directly from posts that are being received and used within social engagement. And in a future video, we can go ahead and show you how that process works and what it looks like from there. But before we did that, we thought it would be a good idea to at least let you see, what that generalized piece of integration information looks like as you're working through it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, for all of us here at CRM Tip of the Day, this is Derek saying take care, everybody. Thanks a lot and have a good one.